Welcome to Crimson Guitars, welcome to episode 107 of the Luthiers Question Time live stream with me, Ben Crowe, from Crimson Guitars. Hi, how you doing? This is the show where I answer your questions about guitars, guitar building, life in general, and, you know, whatever. Just hit me up with a question and we'll see if it tickles my fancy or not. As ever, if you send through a super chat, I will be most appreciative and grateful and will guarantee a response to your question. In the meantime, well, we've got a bunch of people in already. David Oddy, how you doing? Enjoying your new guitars? The Ginger Drum Tech, Anonymous Botch, Wolford Guitars, Big Cats Guitars or Sterman also. Afternoon all. Epiphone Modern arrived today. So excited. He has very recently won a guitar through Great Guitar Giveaway. I love it when it's people whose names I actually recognize, which is pretty cool. So there we go, just double checking that everything's going fine. Douglas Sapola, Thomas Frebo, Big Unit Guitars, Garage Master Guitars. We've got a bunch of guitars in the chat. Okay, now, good. David only says, hi Ben, mortified I did not win a guitar last week. This is, yeah, you were on a bit of a roll, David, but, and congratulations, we were all green with envy at that point. That Epiphone in particular, stunning instrument. So, there we go. Sporadic Music says, afternoon Ben, good to see the redness and swelling is cleared. Yeah, for now, it's we're almost there. That was a particularly nasty reaction to the numbing cream that I've never tried before, but well, it didn't work, and then it didn't work. So that's all gone and dusted. E.R. Webster, how you doing? Barry Christian, Old Man Bill says, hi Ben and gang. The Misadventures of a Little Wolf says, good afternoon, folks. You sound like a kid's book that I would quite happily read. I genuinely wonder if that might actually be what this YouTube channel is about. If so, very cool. I had a brief thought that if all of this guitar-related nonsense stopped, then I could read kids' books on YouTube. And I actually got to the point of researching it and realized that obviously you can't read a kid's book written by somebody else and have it on the screen and then make ad revenue on that because, hey, it's somebody else's intellectual property. But genuinely thought about it. Anyway, David Oddy says, I have been given a mahogany body and trying to sand off the sealer prior to oil is a nightmare. Any tips? Fire, flames, heat. Yeah, I would use a naked flame in a burner and warm the whole thing up, and much finish will come off in just a great big old film if you're lucky. If not, it's wear a gas mask, sorry, and do it outside. If it works, sorry, I just read the next message and that completely put me off my stride there. It's almost as if I've got ADHD. Yes, even if you can't pull up an entire sheet of the finish, using heat to warm up the finish will reduce the amount of forearm strength required to scrape away all of the excess. It'll turn into sort of a mushy thing that you could just scrape away very, very easily. So yeah, I would do that. I would use heat, basically. Not enough that you're going to burn the wood or mess the joint or any joints that happen to be in there. So yeah, just enough. Not too little, not too much. You get the thought. Sounds like a Misadventures of a Little Wolf story to me. Big Unit Guitars says, last tattoo I had a horrible reaction to the post-treatment lotion. I had a forearm the size of Popeye's. Damn. I'm only allowed to laugh because, yes, that's the problem. I walked in and my wife was like, your head's bigger than usual. I'm like, what? My ego's the same size it always has been. I'm glad I'm over it. And yeah, it's one of those things, the things that we put ourselves through to, yeah, I don't know. Worth it? I think so. I think so. Okay, Anthony Cunliffe. Hello, Ben. Random question for you. What would your Jag Stang be? A mashup you think would look cool? Okay. I haven't given this any thought whatsoever, although I did see a project that somebody has already made that I would love to do. And that was a Telecaster chopped in half. Basically, you've got a Telecaster and you've got a Gibson Les Paul, and they chopped part of the Gibson off part of the Telecaster and turned it into a freaking twin neck. So cool, so freaking cool. And I actually do want to take an actual Fender US Tele and an actual Gibson US Les Paul and do that. Can you imagine the hate that I would get for doing that to two of people's actual dream guitars? Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Yeah, rate that idea. I think I saw somebody do that with a kit, but there we go. Kevin Harvey says, Ben, that guitar with magnesium, or was it manganese neck? I was told magnesium. We thought aluminium to start with, and Sam Falloon did even more research after filming and came up with magnesium. So I don't think Sam is the sort of person that would misread manganese and magnesium and get the two switched around like I would. So there we go. Hey Ben, what are your thoughts on an HVLP systems compared to the traditional air compressor based systems? HVLP all the way. High volume, low pressure means that your compressor is working far less, and even with an HVLP system, if you are spraying a lot, you do still need a relatively capacious, I suppose is the word, air compressor, preferably oilless, preferably, I don't know, a 90 litre, 100 litre tank, something like that. This is not, yeah, your little 60 quid compressors that you get from Clark with a 10 litre reservoir or whatever. Those are not meaty enough in most cases to spray even with an HVLP. If you're using a non-HVLP system, that's a hell of a lot of air going through. And yeah, I just wouldn't do it, period. Sweet Tea Guitars sent through Super Chat. First one of the day. Thank you very much, Sweet Teas. Just says, hi Ben, thank you for being you. Peace and love. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. I need to hop over to your channel at some point. I realized this morning that I hadn't watched a single video on my own channel all year, and I have to watch. I just haven't had the time even to watch my own damn videos. So I finally did this morning while working have my isotunes in, and I had the video with the National on, the aforementioned magnesium necked guitar. So there we go. David Oddie says, me again, not a finish but a sealer. So it should be exactly the same thing. So this if it's a big old solid sealer, it's basically made out of the same stuff, and yeah, the same process applies. Okay, Steve Tuttle Guitars with the super chat. Thank you very much, Steve. I sincerely appreciate it. These things keep, well, this thing happening. Ben, I'm planning to inlay some turquoise, not powder. I've never used any stone before. Any tips or tricks to getting a great result? Thanks, Steve T. I too have never actually inlaid solid, actual, real stone. I have inlaid composite stones. There's a memory tickling somewhere. I have inlaid fossil, actually, in the past. Now, the whole point is it becomes very brittle. So even if you are using your jeweler's saw with a tiny little blade, turning the corner will want to snap your piece of stone as you're cutting it. So be very, very, very careful to turn the saw while also cutting and actually making that happen. I would suggest potentially get yourself some cheap diamond files. You can buy, in one of the multitudinous drawers behind me I have some, you can buy sets of diamond needle files that are actually relatively inexpensive, and working with the stone, depending on the stone, that would be necessary. But in general, no, it's a fairly straightforward thing. You may need to seal the stone with thin super glue, something like that, water thin epoxy. But again, that is me. That's an educated guess, as it were. Okay, now. The Misadventures of a Little Wolf says, you wouldn't want to read anything I wrote to kids, with some laughing faces. I'm even more intrigued at this point. We just had an interview for a position at Crimson. In fact, there's a couple of positions open if you're interested. And he said that he'd been off to a gig last night, and after the interview had finished, I googled I Spotified the band, I suppose, and yeah. Actually, some quite interesting stuff. The band is called Dying Fetus, which sort of paints a picture. But anyway, Sporadic Amnesic with a £10 super chat. Thanks very much, Ed. Says, update on the Fairclough SG string height issue. Aha! The neck's in line with the body and not at an angle like it's meant to be. Is there a way this could be fit on a set neck guitar without ruining it? Damn. Okay. Realistically, Fairclough should actually replace that. It is a budget instrument, yes, but if it's absolutely not fit for purpose, it shouldn't have passed their quality control. It does surprise me though. So I'm just going to go and grab a Fairclough. So we do have a few of them in the building. In fact, they're up on the Great Guitar Giveaway right now because we're genuinely impressed. It's a stunning looking instrument. It's very, very well made and very lightweight, and it's just, you know, obviously it needs a little bit of a tune. But the thing with this is the tune-o-matic is exactly right, with a few millimeters of extra space. You know, it's pretty much perfect. Now, if you were to fix that Sporadic Amnesic on your SG, could you send me some photos from the edge? I'd like to see that. If you were to fix it, what you would probably have to do is route the tune-o-matic down or cut it in half vertically, as we've talked about before. But the issue then is that the break angle on your tailpiece becomes almost non-existent, and the entire feel of the instrument changes. I would send it back, and knowing Fairclough, they would replace it. It's a these are a relatively new foray for them. They've been building acoustic instruments for a lot longer, and they do care about what we think as clients and customers. So yeah, check it out. I messed it up. Okay, I'm gonna have to hang this up on the other side of the room then. Yeah, but send me the photo through stream@crimsonguitars.com. I would be very interested to see what's going on there. Okay. Okay, Sweet Tea Guitars says, I recommend the Strat collab videos. They're short. I do need short videos. I will do that. And so I missed that and read Sporadic Amnesics. Big Unit Guitars with the super chat. Thank you, Big Unit. Says, is it bad to do a wood glue up when it's really cold? My Titebond looks kind of whitish after it dried instead of the clear amber color it usually is. Titebond does not like to be stored in negative temperatures. I forget the exact. I forget the exact figure, but yes, it says on the tin, do not store too cold because it can change the chemical makeup of the glue. If you've noticed a physical change, then you may have made a fatal error. I hope that you will be okay, and chances are you will be. But yeah, treat that joint with dubiousness. There we go. I don't know. It's one of those things. I have never had a joint fail because of the glue being stored too cold, and I have worked out of unheated workshops and unheated sheds at the end of my garden for years and years and years. I used Titebond for years and years and years. I've never had a problem with it in that regard. Hell, my workshop at home is only now being heated round the clock. I never bothered. So yeah, you should be okay. Big Cat's Guitars come back in and says, hi Ben, the Epiphone Modern arrived today. Unboxing video is up and I plug my bass I'm building. That is the way to do it, emphatically. I hope, well, I hope that we packed it properly. We've been going through, well, not properly, we've been overpacking the guitars through the giveaway and actually have had one get damaged, sadly. But yeah, we're experimenting with different packing techniques, so I'm going to have to watch that video and yeah, see how it goes. So everybody head over to Big Cat's Guitars or Sterman and check that unboxing and the bass build as well. Why not? Sporadic Amnesic says, bearing in mind I bought it back in October at the Kempton Guitar Show, so they may not accept it now. They may not, but that's a fundamental issue. If it is what we think it is, yeah. But then again, it is also a 150 odd quid guitar, so, and you are here watching a guitar building / guitar repair channel where we mess about with guitars. So hey, why not mess about with it? It didn't cost that much. And it could turn into an excellent instrument. Yeah, send me the photos. I'm interested to seeing what happens. Okay. Big Unit says, well, it was a top to a back, not a stressed joint. You'll be fine. You should be fine. Seriously. It's all good. Run another test, though, out of interest, with the glue. I don't think, yeah, gluing it in a cold temperature itself may be bad, but I think the real issue is storing glue somewhere where it's going to go into negative figures, etc. So you should be okay. Wolford Guitar says, Ben, how are your new chisels holding up at home compared to the Ashley Isles ones? I am not currently using any new chisels, because compared to the Ashley Isles, they absolutely are not as good. In fact, Sean, who is one of our teachers in our Luthiers school next door, he's just bought himself a full set of Ashley Isles chisels, although he's he's making the handles himself, so I haven't met them yet. But the conversation we had this morning was he is not going to regret it. The steel is incredible. Here I've got a set of vintage Marples chisels. I think they're sort of pre-1920 thereabouts. Fantastic steel, absolutely love it. And I've now got, funnily enough, a set of vintage Marples chisels at home in the exact same way. Because the steel on the modern chisels that I had just isn't good enough for me. It's close, it's okay, it's better than it could have been, just not good enough. Yeah, Narix, that's it. Yeah, I don't rate Narix. I just don't. So Orson, my 12-year-old, his first set of chisels is a premium boxed limited edition set of Narix chisels because, yeah, he doesn't know any better. Anyway. Okay. David Oddy coming with a £10 super chat. Thank you very much, David. Says, reposted as a super chat. I'm not a tight ass really. Ever heard of Jet guitars? Any good? They're getting some good write-ups. I've read that they are a breath of fresh air. I have heard good things. My throat is going. I have heard really good things. Let's have a look. So essentially, yeah, I thought so. Here we go. Where are we? Camera 1. Okay, so these are Jet guitars. This is exactly the same. It's almost certainly the same factory even as the Fairclough guitars, although, I mean, yeah, look at that. So these things look expensive, don't they? But they start at a few £100, I think. Yep, €190. Canadian roasted maple neck, modern C shape, roasted maple, 9.5 inch. I mean, it sounds incredible. We've got a bone nut, ceramic pickups, etc. That's very annoying. Very, very annoying. Okay. Well, they're sold at Absolute Music, I think. And I haven't actually picked one up, but I will. We'll pick them up, do a review, chuck it through the guitar giveaway and raise some money for the Dorset Guitar Museum. So why not? And experience a new guitar at that. If they're making instruments with roasted maple necks and bone nuts and all of that for €193. Yeah. See, you thought I was looking at you. I was looking over the camera at Matt, who had his back to me, just turned around and went, what?
I can't even get a neck blank for that much.
Dude, yeah. Genuinely. Come have a look. Come have a look. Seriously, look at this guitar. We've got a roasted maple fretboard, roasted maple neck. You know, I mean, obviously it looks like a Strat. Look at that neck.
And they're selling it for how much?
€190 flat. Okay, so I could buy that at retail for, sorry, a trade. Look at the hold on, you guys, there you go. Look at the screen. I've got a custom shop Strat that looks like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if they play around about the same after the amount of work I put into it. You know.
That's mad. How?
Does it make you want to stop building guitars and just, I don't know, start a Chinese factory or something?
No, but it just makes me sad. That
it does. Okay, so genuinely, I have not spoken about this with anybody. I am seriously considering, given the quality of some of the guitars that I'm seeing coming out of these factories in Indonesia and China, and the Court factory are making the John Mayer SC Silver Sky. Yeah. I am seriously considering, actually, for the first time ever, and people have been asking me for 20 years to do this, actually getting some guitars made abroad to our design. If we can get them made to this quality and then they come through us and we actually do them properly, at this point, there's a no-brainer. There isn't.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
It is very annoying, yeah.
Anyway, what can you do? Thanks, Matt. Sorry to. That's you never know when you're going to be on camera.
That's fine.
What's that? In front of 83 people. Oh no, 3 of them. Yeah, they went away because you were on camera.
No, I'm not.
Dude. You took my ribbing one step too far. Now I feel bad. Damn it. No, and they're back. It's all good. So yeah, really interesting. I'm doing a live stream and you're walking through with the squeakiest wheels imaginable, dude. Can you hear Harvey walking through with a load of templates? Okay. Dimitri says, hi Ben, thank you for all your teachings and inspirations. Is it too early to start my GGBO 23 build? A little too early. Although basically the rules aren't going to be changing in any meaningful way, I don't think. So essentially the processes will be the same. If I were you, I would wait just a little bit. Beth McKellar says, another handsome member of staff. I am going to have to send that, save that and show it to Matt. So yeah, that's Matt and Josh, the handsome ones. There we go. Cool. Adam Dutton, someone must be getting screwed somewhere along the line with these cheap guitars though. That's the problem. That is the problem. So at 193 quid, yes, genuinely, it should be impossible to make them. It should be. It should be. And, you know, if you're paying somebody £2 a day, I'm hoping that they're mainly CNC made, and we're seeing the results of modern technology and modern manufacturing techniques coupled with low labor costs. But yeah, I mean, that is very, very much the problem. Old Man Bill says, did you know Yandles are selling Triton chisels from $2.99 up to $7.99 for the 15 millimeters? I do not rate Yandles. I do not rate Triton chisels. They're even worse than the Narex, but for that price, I mean, yeah, it is one of those things. Paul needs good idea. Get one, do a proper teardown. Is it actually maple? What's the hype? Like, oh yeah, I mean, I could buy one and actually rip it in half. That could be fun. Okay. Paul Cook says they're Croatian or something like that. Only issue is finding them in stock anywhere. I'm fairly sure that Absolute Music have a load in stock at the moment. If that's what I saw. I didn't actually go anywhere near the display stand. It may well be it. Matt, we had an immediate comment from Beth McKellar saying, great big heart, oh my god, another handsome Crimson member of staff. So,
yay!
Yeah, there we go. It's you and Josh. You're the two. Paul Needs says, hey Ben, if I were in the future to bend sides for a 335 using solid sides as per an acoustic, how could I do this with neither a bending iron or a steam box? Initially I would grab my kettle, I would grab a saw and cut the PVC piping downspout off the side of my house. Who actually needs downspouts after all? And I would use that with some gaffer tape to make a steam box. That's all you need. Gaffer tape on the ends, put the wood in, and then somehow some sort of pipe from the kettle to the, that being said, if your wife has hair straighteners, you can use hair straighteners. If that doesn't work and you've got a hot air gun, or better yet, a blowtorch, a gas-powered blowtorch, or even a camping stove, then you can essentially grab yourself a piece of steel tube and put the fire into the steel tube and heat that up physically with flame and then bend over the side of that. That's how people used to do it. There are many, many, many different ways. You could probably, if you really wanted to, even use, and I've never thought of this before, I don't think, you could probably even use the iron that you use to iron your clothes. Essentially, you would need to, that could probably work very well. Hell, there's a video there. If you're pushing against a curved surface, so get a curved bit of steel or iron or pig iron or whatever, and then use the iron to heat up and steam up the wood, and then bend it. That could work very well. I think it's worth a try. There are ways and means, and the final thing is to not bother bending at all, but use multi-laminate up some veneers, and you'd be sorted. Sporadic music, definitely going to change the pickups at some point anyway, as they're quite weak and muddy. We'll probably just grind the bridge saddles down instead. Easier. This is true. They are Wilkinson, budget Wilkinson pickups. But funnily enough, twice the price of the ones that the company actually wanted to put in. Not the company, the manufacturing company. Use even cheaper pickups, and Fairclough said no, we're going to go with UK design Wilkinson pickups because they are better. Jules, hey Jules, how you doing? Says hi Bun, how are you? I hope my package will come soon. I have now widened the fretboard and that worked. Thanks. Fantastic. Okay, quick work. Yes, you should be getting a guitar from us very, very soon. Jules also won an instrument. I'm going to have to check up on that and see how that's what's happening there. Adam Dutton says, I like the decorated pickups on the Reverend Billy Corgan Z1. Can't be too expensive to do, easier than inlays. Why isn't it done more often? Control C. Let me pull this up so that I can see. Oh yeah, of course. So there we go. Come on. It's basically, and it's actually quite a cool pickup with 3 slugs and a bar magnet there. But essentially this design is literally just laser etched through the black enamel coating, and it's a very, very easy process. So I think that it's not done. It's a very personal sort of look, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. Big Unit Guitars came in with a super chat saying, I think you need a crimson fireman style calendar for the ladies at this point. I think not. But I will tell the guys that this is now official policy and see what happens. Cool. Okay. Queries, questions, comments, criticisms. Sunbase says, chop a PRS and a Harley Benton to make a double neck. That would make folks' heads explode. Adam Dutton, I saw the Billy Corgan signature with the cool decorated pick guards. Why aren't the pickups, sorry, why aren't they made? Anybody know if that's a really good guitar or not? Most things by Reverend are very good, actually. I'm very impressed. I need some for the giveaway, actually. Okay. The Ginger Drum Tech says, have just listened to Dying Fetus, fairly melodic compared to what I'm used to. I was Napalm Death's drum tech for a few years. I mean, there's levels and then there's levels. That's genuinely impressive. Okay. Okay, I've just scooched back into the past to see if I can scurry up any questions. Somebody trying to make chlorine gas by mistake. I can't find the original comment. I hope that didn't happen. Come on. PRS SE line of guitars is a prime example of how things have changed for the better manufacturing wise. But then again, we're now paying £1,000 for some PRS SEs, and they're worth it, in my opinion. But yeah, it doesn't feel like it was too long ago when I was thinking that I could make a guitar in the UK for £1,000. I just can't. I can't. Not to the level of quality that I would expect or insist on. Big Cat's Guitars of Sterryman coming with one final super chat saying, I'm on nights tonight, so I have to go. Take care. Good luck. I hope that the general public that you have to deal with is slightly less arsehole-ish tonight than usual. Thanks for your support and for your help with my head issue. Yeah, cool. Dum-da-dum. The Ginger Drum Tech. Question: will you do a video about different materials to make guitars, i.e. different bones for nuts, different woods for fretboards, etc., etc.? It's something that we, very early on, I did make a video about nuts and stuff, the different materials, and yeah, the issue is that it just takes so much time. To do it properly would require actually building 3 or 4 expensive guitars and then doing, side-by-side comparisons, etc., which is it's just not something that I can ever. I just don't have the energy for. But it certainly would be interesting. You've got that right. Thank you, Side Effects Band. I appreciate that very much. Okay, Norm Barrows used bleach twice on some wood in order to bleach it, and then after the bleach was gone, he used peroxide. Don't mix bleach and peroxide together because that is nasty. Oh no, he did. He tried a combination. Ha! And it's made it lighter. Now, why do I hear guitar builders say finish should be as thin as possible? Is it supposed to be a tonal thing or a quality of craftsmanship thing? Wouldn't a thick finish be more durable? This is from Rick Nelson. Okay, you have a very good point. Yes, a thicker finish is more durable, but also a thicker finish tends to, in the minds of the guitar buying public, deaden the sound. Now, in reality, this is, I think, a throwback to a thick nitro finish, which is a relatively soft finish. Yes, I actually can see that having some sort of a deadening effect on the sound. Also, nitro doesn't go on very well thick, so it wouldn't be a nice finish to experience in any case. It just is what it is. However, a modern hard 2K polyurethane that actually cures glass hard, which some finishes do, that thick would actually, in my opinion, add sustain and add resonance, etc., to a build. I think that it is an oversimplification to complain about thick finishes, but yes, we would rather have a thin finish that allows the wood to do its thing than a great big old thick finish on there, and it has a different feel to it. Whether the reason why we think that is true or not, in most cases, it doesn't really matter. We're also going to a point where modern quality guitars don't necessarily have to have a perfect high gloss finish. We were just talking about these jet guitars, which have perfect finishes on them, but it's it's thick polyurethane sprayed on, etc. It's just yeah. Nowadays we're talking about matte finishes and sandblasted things and satins and textured and all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, that's the thing. I love you guys, but my son's texting me and he's just far more important than any of you. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. I'm working. And because I didn't answer within 5 seconds, like, hola. Actually, I need to put that phone on silent. Okay. Norm Barrow says a super thick poly finish can deaden tone somewhat. And again, that comes down to a polyurethane finish. You get finishes in different qualities and with different amounts of plasticizers in them. Plasticizers. Plasticizer, plasticizer. Plasticky goodness. So you've got the basic finish, the basic lacquer or varnish or whatever, and for example, with a good old quality nitro, there's almost no plasticizers in it at all, and you can cold shock it and create weather checking, which we now think of as, well, I mean, it's an attractive finish, and I love the feel of that. Whereas the same exact finish with added plasticizers will react much better to the wood shrinking and expanding in different temperatures. Thus, the finish is more plastic, it's plasticized, can deal with all of that sort of stuff, but it then also will deaden the sound more. So it depends on what your luthier deems more important. But yes, it's a very interesting thing. Andy Take Two says, Absolute Music have jets in from £160 to £560. Sustainability of wood as well as labour must be an issue. I absolutely agree. Okay. Ivan Wizard Carl says, criticisms, you forgot to follow my Instagram after taking a photo of it. No whiskey for you at Makers Central. No, Ben, all for me. Damn it. I haven't actually gone back and looked at the photos I took last time, so there we go. Come on. 2 weeks in a row. How's that? I'm very much looking forward to the hidden whiskey at Maker Central, although I will have my son, the aforementioned Orson, in tow with me as well. Dimitri says, Ben, I was watching your old videos. When are you going to provide us an old classic build of yours? Provide you? I've got some of them. I can actually show you. It could be great fun to look at my first guitar and put pickups in it, and it's here. I've still got it. It hasn't got hardware or pickups or anything in it. It could be a fun project to put that together, maybe for the museum actually. So there we go. Gavin Nichols says, I'm a home guitarist about to do my first new nut, and he says refret, but the autocorrect has called it regret, which is I'm going to stick with. I'm going to make my first new nut and regret on a maple neck Stratocaster. I think we're ready. I think I'm ready and well researched, but what would your top tips be? Thanks, much appreciated, Gavin. Okay. On a maple neck Stratocaster, I'm going to hope that it's built after the 70s. Yeah, older Strats had the older Fenders had the frets put in sideways, which sucked for luthiers who want to pull them out. Essentially because Leo didn't want people to refret them, he wanted them to just buy a new neck, of course. It's almost impossible. There's like 50 million things that I could say about a refret. They absolutely do suck. They are not easy. They're not fun. If you can avoid it, period. The maple fretboard shouldn't give you any issues, although you'll need to be very careful to protect it as you're leveling, crowning, and all of that jazz. Pre-radius your fret wire so that it's just a little bit tighter than the fretboard. If you've got a 9.5 inch radius fretboard, tighten it down to 7.5 inch radius or something like that, and essentially tap the fret in at either end first and then hit on either side and slowly flatten it out and push it. And essentially what that does is it pushes the tangs, it pushes the notched bits on your tangs down through the wood and then sideways underneath relatively fresh wood. Heat up your frets when you take them out with a soldering iron or something like that, because that would make life better for you. It reduces the grab of the wood, it expands the wood around the fret a little bit, reduces tear out, etc. It's absolutely worth doing. You could possibly use a household iron again to do that, although don't go too far because you could then melt the finish and stuff. Yeah, and fill the fret slots. Use glue underneath because it's absolutely necessary. So it's all good. Yeah, fun times. Barry Christian says, any update on the ongoing builds? Teardowns are okay, but I missed the build videos. This week you are going to be getting a video about the cowrie neck. I put in a bog oak insert around the truss rod, and I also made a very intensely, amazingly, totally awesome, cool, unique, wonderful plectrum, if I do say so myself. And that will be a separate video. Both of those videos I think will be going live this week. I'm currently cutting the fret slots, although I've got a hell of a lot on this week. That should be Saturday's video, cutting fret slots, putting in inlays and cutting the tuners, etc. Maybe potentially even fretting. Just had an idea. Not sure if it's a good idea. I'll put a pin in it. I am hoping for a couple of build videos a week on top of everything else. We have had Sophia building a guitar for a while now as a bit of a test and see what she does on her own. I want to build in collaboration with Sophia and Josh and Matt. Matt is currently doing an incredibly cool project where we've got a Fender Custom Shop Strat that essentially, if you're gonna insist on going to a repair person who isn't Crimson Guitars, just do your homework first. This customer took his custom shop, I think it's a Buddy Holly Strat, to a repair person who, when he went back to check up on it 2 weeks later, the guy's parents were there in the shop. And the guy wasn't there anymore, and the parents were like, didn't you know he's done a runner, the police are after him? And he's like, well, there's my guitar body, where's the neck? And this dude had stolen and sold, apparently, his custom shop Strat neck. Now the interesting thing is he's getting older, he's got arthritis, and he's actually struggling to play longer scale length guitars in any case. So Matt is making him a 22 and a half inch scale neck to fit on his Fender Strat, so that it's more comfortable for him to play. And that is a sort of a build that is coming on the channel soon. And I'm going to be starting to build some guitars in collaboration with Josh. So I'll have an idea, we'll come up with a plan, and essentially he'll do a lot of the work, but some of the finessing will be done by me, and it'll be a sort of a collaboration kind of a thing. There's some custom stuff on the horizon. We've got a couple of sister Les Paul, not Les Paul, Robert Fripp signature instruments that are in progress, and that will be a build series as well. And on top of that, there's some custom wiring and bits and pieces on it. There's all sorts of stuff happening. I love my life. I freaking love my life. Okay. Questions, queries, comments, criticisms. If you want to send through a super chat, that will guarantee an answer, and I would be appreciative. Yeah, let's see what there is in the normal chat. Fingerstyle, follow up to a fingerstyle question. I didn't get to the fingerstyle question. Come on. Hold on. It's very difficult to find questions in the normal chat. Okay, so I answered that. Bank holidays, old videos. Norm Barrows is still alive. Paul Cook says, too thick of a finish suffocates the internal tone fairies. You've got to let them breathe. E.L. Webster says, I think some of the super cheap guitars use an acrylic finish, and for the sake of speed, they just layer it on super thick. Maybe part of why thick equals cheap in some people's eyes. True, although it's a long-term thing. So there we go. Matt Toman says, Ben, family first. Absolutely. Will Roberts says, how long did it take you to build your first guitar? Between slowly buying tools, building tools, making plans, practicing on scrap wood, I'm 6 months in. It seems to be taking forever. Probably about that, and I already had a load of tools because I'd had a couple of years training building Baroque instruments. So, yeah, but even so, it's a completely different beast. And, yeah, researching and worrying and obsessing about things. David Ollie just ordered that Jet JS300. We'll let you know what it's like. £159. If all of you go to Absolute and buy those guitars before I get one, I'm going to be most annoyed. Okay. Jazz Tunes, I couldn't find the original question, says, I bought a PRS SE2 piezo that I love, dialed in the piezo for warmth, but I've been searching for years for my sound. Yeah, I absolutely love a combination of piezo and humbucker sort of mixed together. It's one of my favorite things. But yeah, I think we are all looking for our sound. I picked up a second-hand Strymon Timeline a couple of days ago, and that's my sound. All of it. Every single one of the options is my sound. But yeah, anyway. Okay, Shock the Fox, hey Ty, how you doing? Says, any experience using a man-made material fretboard like Richlight? We've played around with them. I've never made a full guitar with it. I've played around with various different versions. There's Richlight, there's a couple of other brand names that completely escape me at this point. The issues I've got with it is I just think that it's like self-driving cars. You know, nobody actually wants a self-driving car, or not many people at least. We all I enjoy driving. I also enjoy being in control. Now, I think that Richlight and things like that are trying to solve the problem of deforestation, but they're trying to do it the wrong way. They're still using a wood product, it's still paper-based, etc., but they're pumping in resins and chemicals and glues and all sorts of stuff in order to make it. And I just think that that's wrong, when at the moment it would be far better for them to take all of that energy and time and money and plant a few more trees. I stopped myself from swearing there. That's my real opinion, is just go and plant some more trees. And you know, but that being said, there are some very, very good alternatives that are, I just don't know if they are actually eco-friendly or not. That's my problem. I genuinely don't think they are. Glues that are eco-friendly are very few and far between, and the ones that are made out of, you know, boiling up dead horses and things. So yeah, that has its own set of issues, as it were. But still, I do, Ty, really genuinely need to actually spend some more time looking into it. I am asked this question on a semi-regular basis. So there we go. I shall do. SM Meyer says, hi Ben, I have a repair or refinish project going for sale, trying to decide on a popular colour for paint. I can't remember, I think there was a survey on Premier Guitar or something like that where they actually listed the 10 most popular colours from the guitar buying public. I think blue is the most popular colour. But yeah, literally just Google it and you've got a top 10 list. It was from 3 or 4 years ago of like across the world there have been 100 million guitars made that are blue, and then 50 million that are red, etc. But yeah, I think you can't really go wrong with red or blue, actually, in my opinion. So there we go. We're coming to the end. We're coming to the end of the day, people. The end is nigh. If you have any questions, get them in. We don't need a bank holiday named after me, guys. Unless it means we get to spend more time in the workshop. Okay. Second note says, of the 2.5 litres of fretboard restorative I got from you at the guitar show, I'm down to my last bottle. So I'll be seeing you again at the end of February. Ha ha ha. You are doing a significant amount of guitar repair and restoration there, my friend. A significant amount. Like, seriously, hats off to you. And seriously, let us know beforehand and we'll make sure to bring extra, because it sounds like you might well buy us out. Yeah, get in touch, shop at crimsonguitars.com, and we'll put together a special set for you and a discount. Rick Nelson, how would aluminium compare to brass as a nut material? Workability or wearing or availability and cost? Thinking of alternative solutions. Thanks for the answers. Brass is great. It's easily available. In a pinch, you can cut off the or cut up the letterbox on the front of your house if you really want to, or if you think you'll get away with it. Aluminium is much, much, much softer and much warmer sounding. Brass has a brightness to it, whereas aluminium sounds thuddy. Now, not as thuddy, for example, as a plastic nut would. It is better. Aluminium is better than that, but yeah, brass is definitely the go-to, in my opinion. The other option, yeah, realistically, there's not that much difference in price, in my opinion. So yeah, I would go brass. You can use aluminium. You can use pretty much any metal that you can find a chunk of could be used to make a good passable nut. Avoid stainless steel though. Hard as ever living hell and not fun to work with. Ape Song says, I have the Strymon timeline. The presets are good, but very often need taming of the delays and reverb. They are very obvious, not very subtle. This is true. There's definitely a lot of playing to do. Yeah, with settings, but still, it's awesome. Rob Allen says, if my tickets were pending for the modern drawing, but subsequently cleared after the drawing, did I pay for tickets that couldn't win? No, not in the slightest. So essentially, because we are... it wasn't pending, it was processing. The tickets are marked as processing until a human goes through and says, okay, completed, because of the way the back end is set up. So essentially, if you buy a ticket at 3 o'clock and the guitar finishes at 3:30 and then we do the draw at 4:30, we haven't gone through and just clicked by. But essentially every single ticket that is paid for on Great Guitar Giveaway, this is the first Great Guitar Giveaway question today, you are in a drawing for 100%. And we've never drawn a number that is, because there have been some failed transactions. But even so, we've got a problem when we're drawing them, in that where we go through all of the tickets, it's also showing us failed transactions. So there's an infinitesimal chance that somebody who stopped, I don't know, lost internet or whatever, may actually technically win the guitar even though they haven't paid. So we have to watch out for that. So even if, basically it's not a problem. Long answer to a easily answered question. Second note says, last time you sorted out 5 500ml bottles for me and sent it out, it was all good. And yes, I've done close to 300 guitars since last February, and 90% of them rosewood. That's really good going. Yeah, I'm sure we can do the same again this time. Yeah, you know how to get in touch. E.R. Webster suggests alloy of adamantium and mithril nut, magical tone. Could you Damascus those two together? That would be incredible. Uranium nut for heavy metal. Damn. Oh, you guys are great. Titanium. I wouldn't use titanium. Titanium is even less fun to work with than stainless steel. Yeah. Neutronium doomsday machine nut. Rob Allen says it was processing. Cool, thanks, Ben. Yeah, no, definitely, you were emphatically in the draw. It's just a physical thing. In fact, I need to go in and just double check that we've done that this week because I haven't. So there we go. Okay, the side effects band is coming with what may well be the final super chat of the day. He says questioningly to the camera. First teddy build, thinking about Purple Heart for accent pieces and fretboard, but have heard it's gummy and hard to work with. What are your thoughts? Matt, what are your thoughts?
Purple Heart?
Yeah, it's not gummy.
No,
I mean, it's hard to work with, but not gummy.
I like it, it's not gummy.
Yeah, I mean, half of your guitars are Purple Heart. Or
Lots of them have got Purple Heart.
Yeah.
Have
Okay.
you seen the flamed Purple Heart that I bought?
I have not yet. I have not yet. I'm also not allowed to see people's premium timbers. I need to be very careful how I say this because I always want to take it.
I will show you.
The sexiest Purple Heart I ever had was heavily flamed, and I bought. I mean, actually, it was 1.5 2 foot wide, and easily 10 foot long.
Yeah.
And 3 inches wide. Can you imagine the weight?
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you get that home?
We cut it in half at Yandles, and it bottomed out the axles on my estate. Yeah, it was nasty. The problem was they dried it too fast, so the entire thing had heat checking throughout all of the wood. It was sad, and this is before resin was a thing. It's like Anyway, I will check out your wood tomorrow. Okay, no, Purple Heart is great. It is hard to work with from the point of view of hand tools, i.e. edged tools, chisels and planes and things like that. If you don't have a very sharp chisel or plane, then it's not going to want to work with it. But if you're predominantly using routers and sanding machines and planer thicknesses and abrasives and things like that, go for it. 100% go for it. It's a beautiful wood. It does tend to lose its color unless you use a UV protective finish. Sporadic Music comes with a super chat saying, how do you stop Purple Heart going brown? Brown. Exactly that. You need to use a UV protective finish that is specifically designed to protect whatever is underneath it from UV rays, and then also, keep it away from the sun as much as humanly possible. So there we go. Vax Headroom says Purple Heart is hard, and the dust makes me break out, but it's not gummy, and it makes stunning accent pieces. Emphatically. Paul Cook says, great guitar giveaway, your Descendant is almost sold out. If you want to do a Shock the Fox regurgitation of failed tickets, that's a very good point. I think there's 5 tickets left on that. And I will actually go and check and see if there are any failed tickets on that. Let me just have a, while we're here, why not? Just have a quick look. Dum, 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 dum. Gert guitar build off, that doesn't work. Gert guitar giveaway. Yes, so that's ending on that guitar is ending on Wednesday, the Descendant, which I can't find at the moment, as well as a couple of other very cool things, including, that's it, the Adam Jones, the Epiphone Adam Jones super limited edition guitar, that is also ending on Wednesday. and is an incredibly cool guitar. This is not working, so I'm sorry. This thing is gone. Yeah, well, there's 5 tickets pending, so I'm gonna have to check and see if those are actually, and it's all the same person, so probably we'll get rid of those and make a few extra tickets, but that's a thing. Okay, so Zach Ellison, hey Zach, how you doing? We've got a super chat, and then when I didn't immediately read it, he sent through a dancing corgi with hearts coming out of its butt. Yeah, that's quite cute, just saying hi. Zach says, hi Ben, it's been 41 years since I built a guitar. What are some things that you suggest I can do to help me build? I have arthritis, but I can do this no matter what. It's a difficult one. Most of how I build guitars. Hold on for a second. It's a guitar case I don't recognize there.
It's really boring.
Okay, fine. It's all good.
So boring.
Yeah, it's like Matt was just telling me about some really pretty wood. I'm like, well, you know, any wood that comes in here, I want. And that's a guitar case with.
You wouldn't want this.
Fine. Okay, good. Have a good evening, Josh. Drive safe. Everybody else is going home. Cheers, Matt. I wanted to call Harvey Matt, and he's Harvey, and it's that sort of 5-second delay because my brain sucks with names. The way that I build guitars, I'm answering Zach's question here. He has arthritis, he wants to build guitars, he hasn't built one in 41 years, but he's gonna do this. The way that I build guitars is not the only way. Shock horror. I love hand planes. I love chisels. I love getting a razor's edge on these things and then just infinitesimally slicing through. It's just, you know, but at some point I know that I'm going to potentially end up in the same boat and be unable to use tools with that level of dexterity, and it is not absolutely essential. You can make an absolutely creditable instrument using entirely machine tools. Go to find a maker's space or something like that near you where you can use a planar thicknesser to joint the top, for example, using hand routers or router tables or things like that. With arthritis, maybe not a router table, but you know, holding a router, you know, that's a much more substantial thing than fiddling around with a chisel and a hand plane and cutting fret slots by hand, etc. So my opinion is that it would be machine sanders and routers and edge sanders and jointers and things like that that will be your friend in this case. And we're not even talking about the other machines and machineries that are available at makerspaces, and that is CNC machines and laser cutters and things like that. You can still create and you can still design and originate ideas that you're physically incapable of dealing with, but the machine can create on your behalf. There's still a hell of a lot of design work. There's still a hell of a lot of handwork with regards to putting it together and putting the hardware in and sanding and applying finish and all of these sorts of things. Fretwork, hellfire. Yeah, other than that, other than using the machines and things, it's just a case of taking it slow and saying, look, you know, I can do an hour a day of this sort of fine digital work. Digital work, meaning fingers, not computers. That's the way my brain thinks. But after an hour, I need to go and sit down and do something else, have a cup of tea. So, yeah, look, good luck with it. And if there's anything that we can do, give me a shout. Because, hey, it's what we do. Let's see what the hordes say. On the Purple Heart front, Ape Song says, don't expose it to purple rain. Hilarious. Rick Nelson says, I just got to notice my massive Crimson order shipped. I've been gushing over these tools for years, almost there. Can't wait. I hope that they live up to it. Mark Nicholas says, I have a set neck custom base with no fretboard radius on the rosewood fingerboard. If I were to refret it, what is the best way to put a radius on the fingerboard? Either a radius block like this, which is slow but very accurate, or start with a hand plane, roughly radius it, and then go with a radius block, or potentially a leveling beam. George Davis, here we go, this is what I was after, says, the biggest issue I have with arthritis is sanding. That's interesting. I'm obviously talking from a complete lack of knowledge. Yeah, complete lack of knowledge. So I'm supposing with the arthritis, etc., if you're using a random orbital sander, that's potentially causing more issues because it's vibrating, in which case try and find an even more expensive sanding machine. The Merkur sanders, for example, are very, very easy on you. And the interesting thing is they've got a switch on the top. It's not a grabbing it by the throat and using it like that. It's a gentle and that's an option. If not, find a company that have got a slack belt sander, I think they're called. So you've got a big long 3 or 4 meter long belt, and that goes in front of you. You put your guitar in between the belts and push down with a sanding block. That could be easier as well if you've got access to somebody who has one of those. Whew. David Oddy says, Ben, the guitar I won from Hoff in Canada arrives tomorrow. Whoopee. This is David's second guitar that he won via Great Guitar giveaway, and it was one of the GGBO instruments. So yeah, congrats on that. Okay, I am losing my voice. Barry Christian says, depending on the arthritis, be careful of power tools. Vibrations from grinders, drills and sanders, etc. will actually play it up. Well, in that case, yeah, genuinely in that case, build with somebody else, or you can be there helping, you can be there designing, you can do the hand stuff, the chisels. So my entire answer was wrong. Damn. Yeah. Hand tools only, no power tools. Power tools are bad for arthritis. Let's just pretend I said that. Okay, Paul Need says, my issues are anything requiring a lot of strength and or sustained work. Everything is slow, and to be able to work an hour would be a dream. Man. Yeah. I feel your pain. Okay, Birdie Numbnuts says, out of ebony or rosewood fingerboard, which is preferred, makes no difference to the musician. It's entirely, or makes very little difference to a musician. An ebony fretboard is finer grained, and if you have fat fingers and can feel the fretboard, or you're using lower frets and can feel the fretboard, then you will feel the difference between that and the more open pored rosewood. Other than that, really, it's just a look thing. Sound wise, received wisdom is that ebony is a little bit brighter than rosewood, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Okay, I am going to call this a day fairly soon, people. Second note, do you ever get Brazilian rosewood fretboards, or is it just more hassle than it's realistically worth? Scene builders in the US seem to use it often. I can get it. If somebody wants it, I can. But yes, incredibly expensive. I don't think worth it. I have a personal stash that I bought from a workshop that had been closed for 30 years or so, and it was in the corner, but without the CITES I can't use it for anything other than personal instruments, and it's probably going to be my retirement acoustic or something for myself. The Side Effects Band coming with a super chat, thanks very much, dude. It says, got English Stanley 78 in a box of planes, broken in front of the bladed handle, still useful for anything, glue scraper perhaps. You could essentially turn it into a chisel plane, which is actually really useful if you're doing cabinetry and going into corners. But yeah, absolutely. I have seen that done before. Jacob Palaro says, just glued and pressed skateboard decks together around 3.75 inches thick. Any idea on how to square it up without a bandsaw? Yeah, just a standard normal handsaw. You'll be sorted. It'll go through like that like butter. Jam and Jesse Hayman says, hi all, hope you all are well. I've just popped in to say hi and that I love you all. My caregiver will be here later to take me around on some errands, so I'm busy getting ready for the day. Cheers all. Have a good day, and we will see you soon. Somebody's saying that alcohol helps in the short term. I think we're talking about arthritis. Alcohol in the short term tends to help many things. It's the long term that we've got issues with. Okay, Sam Mastery, hi Ben, how's things? Is a Les Paul Junior body the same shape as a Les Paul double cut? Seems close enough to me, but not sure. Do you know what? I'm actually not sure myself. I don't think so. I don't think so. But I don't know for sure. Progressive Guitar Works, currently building a neck through headless birch build. Does birch die similar to maple? Recommendations? It does. Yes. Slightly different color, because it is a slightly different color timber, but yeah, the end result, it works very well. Finally, okay, Mr. Waffle says, hit like freeloaders. Second note says, I just find the almost waxy nature of it very unique to Brazilian rosewood that I've not seen elsewhere. Really cool, but I agree it wouldn't be worth the upcharge per se. That's the thing, it is stunning wood. I absolutely love it. From a tonal point of view, I don't think that it is worth it to make a fretboard of Brazilian. Tonally, I don't think anybody's going to necessarily hear that difference. From a point of view of saying, hey, this is a Brazilian rosewood, it is rare, it is sought after, it is beautiful, and it feels and looks in a way that I like, hey, spend £500 on a fretboard and it's worth it from that point of view. My statement was entirely about the sonic or perceived sonic benefits of it. Okay, fair enough. I think we're done. Look, everybody, you guys are freaking awesome. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for coming along and feeding me questions and keeping this whole thing going. I really do enjoy this. I'm going to go and see if I can help my son get yet another gaming account up and running, and I'll be back in the morning cutting fret slots. Woohoo. Have a good evening. I will see you soon. A bunch of people saying they've been clean and sober forever. I agree. Avoid booze. Guitar building is much more addictive anyway, and far more rewarding. See you soon. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.